things!
Hello and welcome to Two Dudes Talk Video Games.
And stuff.
Today, we're going to be talking about weekly news and gaming.
And news about stuff.
Shut up, Perry.
Never.
I hate you so much.
Where would you be without me?
In a much, much better place. So BioWare announced a release date for the Leviathan DLC. For US consumers, as well as European 360 and PC users, you'll be able to get it on August 28th. However, European PS3 users will have to wait until the 29th. The DLC itself is set in the hunt for the mysterious Leviathan. Rumor has it that it's actually a rogue reaper that was exiled after destroying one of his brethren. Thoughts?
The name. Calling the DLC Leviathan, nothing looking for Leviathan. Like, they could have put more thought into that. And also, when is this hunt going to take place? Are you going to have to start a fresh new game?
I say you probably have to get the full effect. However, with Mass Effect 3, it's like a lot of games where there's like a post-credits sandbox mode sort of deal where it just reverts to the last autosave before the final mission. So you might be able to do it then. However, Mass Effect 3's military strength, it might be a little more complicated, since by that point the Reapers will have conquered most of the galaxy. So you'd probably be safer to just start a new game. I am concerned though with how it'll affect the endings, because the big deal about the control and synthesis ending was that you now had the collective knowledge of all the Reapers to help rebuild. Would you really need that if you had a Reaper on your side automatically?
Well, what if Reapers don't have all the knowledge inside of them? What if it's like just a massive hard drive server somewhere that they access all its collective information, and when this Reaper was banished, he was cut off from that knowledge?
Well, the thing about Reapers is they're each made from species. One Reaper is pretty much an entire species just turning this orange goo and mushed together into a single form.
So each... Wow, I feel kind of bad for the mass genocide side of the Reapers then.
Like I said, Reapers are above and beyond the single person.
I feel bad now.
Another issue is with control ending, Commander Shepard becomes the sort of meta Reaper who controls all the Reapers. So with the Destroy ending, there was a lot of ethical quandaries, because in the Destroy ending, you destroyed all synthetic life. So the Geth and Edie were dead. With the control ending, you basically are making your ally your slave.
Yeah, that could bring up some interesting points.
Furthermore, wouldn't it kind of negate the need for the Crucible? Because the entire thing was no one knew what the Crucible really did or what it was. It was just, you found it on Mars and it was built upon eons and cycles. But the Reapers would have known what it does. They would know what it's about. They would know everything. So it would take away the entire need to go to Thessia to find out about the actual catalyst, which is the Citadel.
Interesting.
So it'll be weird to see what they do with that.
Moving on. EA is considering a buyout offer made by the equity firm KKR and the Providence Equity Partners. One source has said that EA is considering the acquisition at a price of $20 a share. Current share prices are listed at $14.18. Highest record is $61 back in 2007. My biggest concern of this is that these firms are not going to allow EA to try more creative things and just stick with what they made it successful and just build off of that until the company just crashes because no one's buying their games anymore.
Well, based on current EA market products, they're already doing that, so it wouldn't be a change. Dead Space 3 needs to sell 5 million copies, which is more than the first two combined, to recoup the cost and make it a success. So to do that, they're kind of taking away the horror aspects, not that Dead Space was ever actually a horror game, to make it more action-adventure-y. Yay, Gears of War! Plus you have the sort of COD-like Battlefield.
Ha!
So the mainstream market right now is pretty much stagnant with very homogenized titles. Go Gadget Indies.
I pray for the new console system to be successful. I can't remember its name right now.
The Ouya?
Ouya, yes. I want it to be a success. It's shiny, it's pretty, and it has a touchscreen controller.
In non-Ouya news, Ubisoft's Jade Raymond says that controversial topics need more polish in games. She points out that some things, like environmentalism, are easy to tackle, but others, such as the Tomb Raider rape debacle, need a more considered approach. We all remember what happened with that. It's your fault, Crystal Dynamics, just so you know. She mentioned that some issues are better spoken of in the indie gaming market. And I can kind of see her point. They can get away with a lot more in the indie market since they have much lower development costs, so it's much easier to recoup those costs. But still, I don't think Assassin's Creed development team is in any way supposed to be speaking on controversial topics, because the recent trailer with Connor Kenway, or whatever his name is, slaughtering the British troops, garnered a lot of controversy from British people, who apparently got pissed off that the Americans and the quote-unquote neutral guy were killing the British in the war that liberated us from Britain.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think you can really please gamers. There's always going to be something to bitch about.
You must always be a bitch king.
The one true bitch king.
And the topic of Assassin's Creed, creative director Alex Hutchinson accused gaming critics and journalists of racism. He was quoted in saying, "I think there is a subtle racism in the business, especially on the journalists' side, where Japanese developers are forgiven for doing what they do. They're Japanese." He was also quoted in saying that he prefers Gears of War to Bayonetta. Hutchinson wants games to be reviewed based on how good their narratives are. First off,
teppanyaki is amazing. Thank you, Japan.
second, Gears of War, it's not a very good story.
No.
Some games just don't need a good story to be, that big of an impact. Exhibit A, a fat, bearded Italian guy running around in the sewer in overalls. That's a net reference.
Who has to constantly rescue a rape victim from her rapist.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Cake.
But then again, there are some games that just have such a great story that they would be nothing without them.
Mass Effect,
even Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Without the story, you'd just been some time-traveling mute going around killing monsters.
So it'd be WoW with all the douchebags.
And a lot less wasteful grinding.
Indeed.
Yes, quite.
After the Saints Attack trailer controversy, Tori Blystead has said they've gone into the game within the actual level where those nuns appear to build them up and make it not such a shock when you encounter them.
I don't know, if they're going into the game to explain, maybe they're not actually nuns. Maybe they were just disguising it at the, incognito.
Well, that's kind of the idea, yeah. They're not actually nuns. Nuns don't carry rocket launchers, as far as I'm aware. If they do, God help us all.
Clearly, I have not met the kind of nuns I know about.
Clearly. Blystead has said he doesn't expect any further controversy from the game, and IO Interactive has apologized for any offense they might have caused with the trailer.
I want to know who was offended by this trailer.
Feminists? Progressivists?
Christians. The trailer, to me, it seemed like it was out there to shock and awe you and get you pumped for this game.
There was one game-related criticism where people have said that the trailer didn't make them feel like 47 was 47. Stealthy, sneaky, stabby.
And also, they showed him pretty beaten up in that trailer. It looks like, he just got done kicking ass and taking names. So, we'll have to wait and see. On to Ubisoft.
Again. You sensing the pattern here, folks?
Ubisoft released some more information about the naval battles in Assassin's Creed 3. Our lovely backstabby ninja poofa guy will be commanding
Connor Kenway.
Stabby poofy ninja.
In the bathrobe.
In the bathrobe, yes. Will be commanding a ship called the Aquila.
Aquila, we'll go with that one.
Aquila?
Yeah.
Alright. And it'll be fully upgradable. The ship will initially start with an ordinary cannon and a small amount of hit points. The player will receive points after completing missions. Ubisoft has said that weather will play a role and that waves are capable of capsizing ships. I love this idea. And especially if you're going to be able to go through and replay missions for the sake of replaying them. Because the weather elemental will just add more stuff to do. Like, oh my god, this wave just came out of nowhere this time, knocked my boat over, and I got my ass handed to me. I need to try again. And plus, if it does do that, it'll add more gameplay time, which every game developer loves to hear that their people are going through and playing the game again.
I'm curious to see if they'll actually implement it effectively. I'm kind of concerned that there'll be clipping issues with the waves, but that some will just knock you over when they shouldn't, and some will just pass right through you. I'm also concerned with making naval battles fun, because in the few games I've played where there have been naval battles, it just wasn't enjoyable.
I've played a couple games where they had sky naval battles, airships, and
There is one game. Battleship.
Yes. The ultimate of all battleship games. But there were some games where they're airship battles, and they played out pretty well to my liking. Granted, they were turn-based games, and I like turn-based games. Sue me.
You'll hear from my lawyer next week.
I don't like Jim. He's mean. He doesn't bring me cake.
That's kind of the idea. Moving on to the Vita.
Let me grab my torch and pitchfork first. Alright. Worldwide Studios has said that they're going to work on reducing the manufacture cost. Their engineers are working on figuring out ways to make the game cheaper and more affordable. $250 is a lot. Overall drawback, any price drops won't take effect until 2013. Sudi Yoshida, I probably butchered that name, I'm sorry, Mr.
Yoshida.
Mr. Yoshida, we like you.
I don't. Continue.
I was quoted in saying, people like cheap or free. Of course, cost reduction is one area our engineering team is working on, but we just launched the platform earlier this year. It takes time to do so. It's too early for a price drop. Things they're wanting to focus on outside of the cost is improving the game catalog. They're just want a lot of games out with it. There were a lot of fans complaining about this, and I think maybe they should do is just release some retroactive games just to help fill that bucket. People will buy them. People will like to play them. I know it'd be kind of fun to play Final Fantasy VII on the go.
Mortal Kombat had a Fruit Ninja attack.
Wait, what?
On the Vita, the Mortal Kombat version, the Mortal Kombat on the Vita, had a Fruit Ninja style game.
That hurts my brain. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, in further Japanese news, Square Enix developer Naoki Yoshida, I'm just into like a weird coincidence here.
Well, they do. They're say their last name first and their first name last.
That is true. But we don't know if they're doing that in the West though. Anyways, Naoki Yoshida is looking ahead to the next generation for Final Fantasy XIV. He still says the company plans on a PS3 release of the MMO Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn. However, he also said that they need to start thinking about the future, but that the Final Fantasy XIV engine is scalable and that it is playable on current low and high-end machines, PCs. Yoshida says the scalability will allow for an easier translation into the next generation. Currently, Final Fantasy XIV is still set for a release later this year.
I like that idea, being able to, if the game gets done for PlayStation 3, there'll be PlayStation 3, and that means they'll probably also have a PlayStation 4, well not 4 really, whatever it's called, version of it as well for people who, upgraded to the PlayStation 4.
Also, when they were doing a trailer at Gamescom, they played on an i5 processor, so if you have a lower-end machine right now, it'll probably be good to play it, and it'll still look decent.
And in Final Fantasy games, those bikini-clad warriors and spellcasters, just they have to look as best as they can.
I was gonna say this. I enjoyed Final Fantasy X too. I liked playing dress up with Yuna. I'm not ashamed of that.
Nor should you be.
I searched the scantiest clad costume I could possibly find. I put on all my characters. Never got very far.
You're just an American, sir.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Please
Speaking
don't
of
sue
freedoms.
me, Lee Greenwald.
A UK resident by the name of Anthony Vickerman.
Anton Vickerman.
Anton
Vickerman.
Vickerman has been sentenced to 4 years in prison for the conspiracy to defraud. Vickerman operated an internet site called surfthenchannel.com, where he hosted links to other file-sharing sites. Vickerman earned about £35,000 a month in ad revenue. But damn. The Federational Agency Conspiracy or Copyright Theft Fact caught wind of this site and put a PI on his trail. Magnum PI.
I am currently looking up the conversion rate for pounds to dollars.
Graham Lincoln, don't know who this guy is, writer of the IT Crowd and Father Ted. Again, I don't know who Father Ted is.
Cutting you off for a moment. He made $54,950 a month in ad revenue. We need to be really, really good at this.
Called the punishing Graham and Lincoln called the punishment unfair, and it was punishing people for being able to navigate the modern world. I don't know, the guy knew what he was doing.
He did, but did he really do anything wrong? Yes, he collected ad revenue, but he collected ad revenue by posting links to sites, some of which you could legally download files from. He did not host those files himself, so it kind of gets murky.
Was it the United Kingdoms that took out this guy, or was it the United States?
It was the United Kingdom.
Okay, so that scares me a little bit, because that's something kind of as evil SOPA and PIPA stuff we're trying to do.
The European Union already had their version of the bill, and they got shot down.
It's one of those gray, murky water things where he wasn't making money off of the file sharing sites.
God save the Queen.
But he was still doing something that was technically illegal. I don't think they should have taken his money away from him.
Or put him in prison for 4 years.
That's kind of debatable.
I'd rather they take the money than put him in prison for 4 years. Because now when he gets out, he has nothing. His marriage is gone, his money is gone, his freedom is gone.
Yeah, okay, yeah. They probably should have taken him.
They kind of screwed the guy. In other lawsuit-related news, Stardock, the guys behind Sins of a Solar Empire, is suing a former marketing manager after the terrible launch of Elemental. I believe it's an RTS game. Never played it myself.
Nor did I.
As well as the destruction of assets related to Elemental. The company is suing Alexander Masetta for $1 million for destroying all Elemental-related marketing material, analytics, trade show information, and other related data. 3 weeks before she quit. With no reason given. In the suit, Stardock claims that assessing the loss of all the materials, which came out to about $5,000 just to figure out what was destroyed, and the subsequent detraction from programming, debugging, and other responsibilities resulted in Elemental's poor success on its launch day. Stardock has actually made it so that when the expansion comes out, people who bought the original game will get the expansion for free.
Oh, nice.
Because the launch was that bad. Moral of the story here, folks, if you're going to quit, don't destroy shit. It's bad.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, didn't they not have backup copies of all this stuff? Because even I know.
If she's the marketing manager, she might have had access to the backups.
And then she deserves to be sued, the crazy bitch.
Yeah.
But that's no way to... They must have been something bad.
It could be like there's a zombie game, Project Zomboid or something like that. The laptops by the development team all got stolen. All the data went with them.
You know.
Or that Japanese MMO that accidentally got deleted.
Hmm?
It was a while ago. This Japanese MMO got might have been Korean.
Probably Korean.
Either or. It was one of the grind-tastic MMOs, and one of the employees accidentally deleted all the files, so they had to shut down the servers. Moving on.
Alright, in a twist, let a twist. Rebellion Studios is suing Stardock over the title of the standalone expansion Shines of a Solar Empire Rebellion.
Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion.
Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. Rebellion Studios, responsible for Sniper Elite and Never Dead, claims that Stardock title infringes on trademarks. Rebellion issued a cease and desist order in April, but Stardock refused. The title has led to at least one confused YouTube video. One video that we know of.
I said at least one.
At least one that we know of. The description for which labeled developer of the expansion as Rebellion, not Stardock. Rebellion is seeking triple damages, legal fees,
punitive
damages, interest, and more.
So apparently you can now copyright words. I hereby copyright pillow. Anyone who says the word pillow owes me 20 cents.
This is kind of like what was happening with Mojang and their scrolls.
Yeah, when... Was it Bethesda or ZeniMax? It was Bethesda, wasn't it?
I think it was Bethesda was suing Mojang over the title for Scrolls. Because I don't know about you, but
I always call my Elder Scrolls game Scrolls, dog.
I know.
Yo, Dustin, you played that new Scrolls game, man?
New Scrolls game, man, that should be off the chain, yo.
That's our director.
You're welcome. Love it.
It's. I can see where just because Rebellion is in there could be some issues, but I don't know. I think that stupid is as stupid does. If you looking at the game, it will not say it won't say Rebellion as their manufacturer when you look in the back.
Also, the game is about a rebellion. Just pointing that out there.
What a twist!
Who'd have thunk it?
I know, right?
Anywho, in non-gaming news, Marvel will be getting the rights back to Daredevil, assuming Fox doesn't get a movie in production by October. Marvel is seeking to get the movie rights back now that they have the capability to produce movies in their own studios, aka Disney. It may take a long time to get the rights back for the big-name comics, example, X-Men, Spider-Man. The great director Joe Carnahan had pitched an idea to Fox, but they had shot it down. Though they're maybe more interested in his movie now that the deadline is coming up. Side note, that desire to keep franchises is what led to X-Men First Class, which is a great movie.
Sometimes there was some issues with it. There was Magneto's helmet at the end was just weird. I mean, it was what it looked like in the First Class series. The First Class is its entirely own comic book series, which has different story, different opening stuff. But
they did announce a sequel to First Class.
Second Class?
No. It was something about the past being in the future. I can't remember the name exactly. It was weird.
Distant Future?
No.
Oh. But I can see Marvel wanting to get their rights back. There have been the Daredevil movie was not that great. With Marvel having access to having their own movie rights, which means they'll have when they go to make a movie, they'll have the current comic book artists for these movies, the writers. They'll be working on these movies too. They'll have the man, the myth, Mr. Stan Lee in there too. With his movies, when he helps with his movies, they usually always do great.
But do people need to cheer whenever he makes a cameo?
Yes.
It's expected.
It's expected for people to cheer. I would throw myself onto a puddle for Stan Lee, sir.
Fanboy!
Damn straight.
Mr. Pandaria, let's talk about it before you piss me off.
From the they just released the cinematical trailer for Mr. Pandora, which
At Gamescom, right?
yes, it was at Gamescom, which I believe is in Germany. It was really well done. The CGI work was impressive, and
I agree. It was very good.
there's just the right amount of comedy in there too. It was good. However, people are still mad there were no gnomes. What do you think got fired out of the cannon?
There weren't elves, trolls, or dwarves.
There's never been a gnome in any trailer. But what do you think was fired out of that cannon, sir?
Gnome babies.
Exactly.
For the horde.
Oh my gosh. In the hill that the fight between the human, the orc, and the Pandaren, which was Chen Stormbrew, is an actual place in game.
Isn't it Storm Stout?
Chen Stormbrew. I can't remember. Chen. What was it called? Chen. Mr. Chen.
Bruce Lee Panda.
And even in fact, there is an actual achievement you can get from fixing the incense burner that Chen fixed in the fight, which I think is pretty cool. Trying to mesh in the trailers as opposed to all the other ones. There hasn't been really any connection to the world, which it's more fun. It means they actually took time and planned this trailer out, as opposed to the Burning Crusade one where it was just Illid and talking.
Back then, it was also a lot more limited technology and a limited budget.
Another little chunky news with the upcoming pre-patch, with the pre-launch trailer, which is about a week away. Blizzard making a big change to the game, where once this patch drops, no matter what version of the game, you'll be able to play any race, except for the Pandaren. You have to wait till September 25th, the release date of Mr. Pandaria. So, if you start out with basic vanilla WoW level 1 through 60, after September 25th, you can play whatever race you want, whatever class combination, whatever. And I love this idea. It's going to get more people to try out, do the trial version and stick with it. I know a lot of times people try the trial version, they download, they see, because they saw a trailer with Worgans, Goblins, Blood Elves, Draenei, Pandaren, and they realize, wait, I can't play these in this free trial? Well, I'll just not play it. I don't care. With this, that means more people like, oh, I'll try this out. This new race looks kind of cool. I like pandas. I like, Jack Black. He was great in that movie. I'll try this out. 3 years later, yeah, go hard. Yes.
So that's Perry's diabolical plan.
I'll stop.
I'm still not playing Mr. Pandaria.
To each their own. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to it. There's a ton of fun stuff for me to do. Though I am not as active as I was back in the days of Wrath. That probably was the height of my World of Warcraft gaming career, but there are other stuff that take up time.
It's all about the Burning Crusade.
All I did was dailies.
A goddamn Argentus bubble. Horror. The horror. Anyways, I'm sure you're going to be bringing us lots of videos when Mr. Pandaria does come out.
I intend to. I'm going to do a lovely little correlation of my leveling. Little Eye of the Tiger.
Don't spoil it too much. Also coming to the channel, I'm going to be doing a retrospective Mass Effect Let's Play throughout the entire trilogy with all downloadable content. So alternate costumes, the Pinnacle Station for Mass Effect 1, the Kasumi and Zaid bonuses, Project Overlord and the Shadow Broker, and ideally, if I get to it at the time, I'll have Leviathan as well. I will not be doing multiplayer because I don't play it.
Hopefully I'll be able to actually start recording, rebuilding my Creeper project in Minecraft. And that this mod is finally up and running, so I don't have to sit there and do it all by hand. And I'll also be doing some videos showing off my other project, codenamed Winterfall. Because everything has to have a code name. And that's all the time we got for tonight.
I believe it is. Once again, I'm Shane.
And I'm Perry.
I hate him with a passion.
No, he doesn't.
Thank you for watching. Two Dudes Talk Video Games. See you next time.